All right, good afternoon. Let me get this rolling here. There we go. And it looks like we're there and we're live. Love when it works. Let me know as you chime in. I've got a new little microphone headset thing that I'm using here today. So let me know if the sound is coming through well. I'm hoping this one works way better than the last one. Um, and hopefully we won't have any issues with sound moving forward. That's the goal. So just give a little more time. Yay! Hi, Debbie. Welcome and thank you for letting me know about the sound. I've had so many little hiccups with that along the way. I'm pretty excited to have this and hope that it fixes those problems a little bit. So, all right, I'll give it a few minutes more here for everyone to pop on and get ready here. Happy Tuesday. Just going to kind of kill a few minutes here before I talk about anything important since I got a few people. Oh, there we go. Here's someone else. Hi, Laura. Oh, good. Sound is good. Thank you. Yay. Hi, Marcy from Northern California. Good afternoon. I might have, if I said good morning, I meant good afternoon. I still get confused with those Facebook Lives on Thursday that we do in the morning. Hello from Florida, Birdie. Welcome. All right. Got a few people here. I'm going to keep stalling just a tiny bit longer. Yay for good sound. I'm so happy. We've had so many problems and it's very encouraging to hear so many people saying that the sound is good. So thank you for chiming in on that. All right. So here pretty soon, hi from Orange, California. How's the weather where everyone is? I know we finally had what felt like summer yesterday, and we're back to, I can't decide if it's spring or fall. I'm going with spring because at least summer comes after spring, right? So we're gonna go with that theory right now because I think that's a little more encouraging. So, yay, Birdie! I know we still had some technical difficulties last night. I mean, it's kind of just goes with the territory with the lives. We're sorting them out and figuring them out, but I'm glad you enjoyed. Hi from Birmingham, UK, Kathy. 90 degrees today, Laura. So you probably think mid 60s and cloudy maybe sounds nice. I don't know. 90 sounds pretty nice to me about now. I think I would enjoy that. Hello from Illinois. Yay for summer. Hi, Dorothy from Seattle, waving down just an hour and a half south of us. All right. Looks like we've got a good few people on here now. So I imagine, Laura. Sorry. Like I said, I think everyone always wishes for the opposite. I feel like I'd love to swap and have some good warm summer weather, but at the same time, here you are enjoying it and nice, cool, cloudy day probably sounds blissful. So up and I see same in Yucatan, Mexico, in Virginia, hot and wet in North Carolina. I believe that. Make sure I'm not missing too many comments. Okay, well, now that we've got a few people chiming in here, it sounds like our sound is good. So I'm going to go ahead and start moving forward here. We are going to play again today. I don't know who came to the Facebook Live on Friday. Um, hold on one second here. I'm just going to check something. I have a message from, yeah, sorry. Kinnery is going to join us um, today, and she was just asking me, whoops, where are you? YouTube. All right, let me send that real quick, and she should be able to find it now. Okay. All right, pop back up to this and get this going again so I can see. I think she was on Facebook. Okay, she should be popping in here any minute now. All right, sorry for that little intermission. Some technical difficulties again. If you were at our Facebook Live on Friday, we featured that beautiful new release. It's a collaboration with Altenew. So today we're going to use one of those stamp sets that we really didn't look at that close. I know I shared the card I made, but we didn't really stamp it out or play with it at all. So this is the beautiful, let me make sure I'm saying the right name because the names are very similar. This is Celebrate Today, which is just this beautiful, huge floral arrangement there's Kinnery. We have Kinnery, the owner of Pink Fresh, who's just popped on. She's going to help keep track of comments and link stuff up and answer questions. So if I miss them, make sure and leave those questions in the comments. And if you haven't joined us before, we do draw a winner for a $15 gift card here at the end of the live. So she will be choosing that today. So we're going to make this heat embossed, inky. We're doing some ink blending. It's been a crazy enough week. I made this sample early this morning, about 7 o'clock this morning. I was still half asleep. Um, and I had one plan when I started, and then as I started doing it, you know how sometimes a card just kind of evolves into something different than you plan? It's kind of what happened on this one. But we're going to recreate this today because I kind of think it turned out kind of fun. So maybe I should do sleepy early morning crafting more often. And so it'll be kind of fun and different. Hi, Annalise. Glad you could join. Hi, Diane. Welcome. All right. So I think we will go ahead. Hi, Simon Hurley. Wow. Thank you for joining us. I feel like I'm got the expert joining for real now. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around here and we'll go ahead and get started working on this card here and see if we can get all the way through it here today. So let me get things moved out of the way. All right. Turn the camera over here. All right, let's see if we got that centered. I think we're pretty good there. Okay. It's always that first challenging, making sure everything's on the screen and showing how it should. All right, so what we're gonna do here today, I did one in advance, just to get a start. I started off with this. This is just that big, beautiful image there, heat embossed in gold. And I only used 2 of these to do this whole card, just by kind of putting them around, mounting them up, trimming off the extra. So when I first started here, I had a rainbow of some of our beautiful dye inks. And I was at first just going to do just like an ombre ink blend with these colors here, which is Coral Reef, Lemon Whip, and Apricot. And as I started doing it, I kind of just froze and went, So this image was so perfect and easy just to color in with the inks. And these are some smaller size life-changing blender brushes. So you could color these, you could do them all kinds of different ways. Even monochromatic with the ink colors I think would be super duper fun. So let's go ahead and get started here. I've got one of these done just so I don't have to run the heat embossing gun quite, because that's always the noisy, loud part. And I also, you might have noticed the stamp image there was missing from the stamp set, and it's because I went ahead and got a head start on this as well. This is super easy to line up, but this is kind of our favorite live way to do our stamping is I take out the negative die cut, then I can pre-die cut in advance, and then I just line it up in there. Super easy in the negative. If you want to grab some inexpensive paper and put behind it, kind of do a test stamp to make sure it's lined up where you want it. This one was so super easy. I didn't have to do that. And I've lined it up a couple different times between my practice and photos and everything. So then I can just put my negative die cut in here. And then the nice thing is if you're going to stamp multiples, this is a great way. You just slap your die cut in, stamp, put your die cut in and everything else. So if you prefer to do this the other way, definitely feel free to stamp first and then die cut if you're going to do the heat embossing and it's more comfortable for you this way. This is just kind of, like I said, a quicker, easier way for us for the YouTube lives, and honestly is probably one of the more common ways that I do stamp images on die cuts. All right, I'm going to stamp this just with some good clear embossing ink. I didn't realize how well used my last one was. I just got a new one of these and it's so much juicier. So if you're heat embossing and you feel like you're having a hard time, you might need to replace your embossing ink. I'm just saying because for some reason it didn't quite cross my mind. Yes, Sharon, these stamp sets definitely, I feel like they celebrate the best of Altenew and Pink Fresh. And I think they're both so well known for their floral stamps. I'm going to just set that out of the way here and bring over my gold heat embossing. Hi, Peggy, if I didn't say that already. All right, crystals and jewels. About attaching them. My very favorite to attach the crystals and jewels, I know everyone uses something different. I really like to use glossy accents. Um, that's probably what you'll see me mostly using in my live videos because when it dries, so when you first put it on, it kind of looks a little matte and not as shiny. But once they dry, with the glossy accents under them, the glossy turns shiny. So it doesn't matter as much for the jewels because it's going to be hidden underneath the jewel because it's got a solid colored back. However, for the crystals, then it's helpful. All right, I'm going to turn my heat gun on. This is why I did one of these in advance, so you don't have to listen to this 2 times. And then we can melt this embossing powder. I'm just carefully holding it from the side so I don't smudge anything. Get that up close so you can see. Okay. Yeah, so let me see, there's comment. Certain glue. So when I feel like glossy accents when it dries, and I have a little fine tip that I put on it so I can get brave for holding while embossing. Notice how closely I was holding on to the very sides? Um, Anyway, so I can put a tiny dot because mainly with the jewels, when I put them on, like on this card we're doing today, I try and put a small enough dot that it doesn't come out the sides. If you were going to do that, another great option is the Ranger Multi-Matte Medium. I might have said that in the wrong order, um, but that way, if it squishes out a little, it's going to dry matte and not shiny, and you won't see the glue as much. But as long as you use a small enough, both of those do a really great job of adhering and holding it really firmly. I have sent stuff through the mail. I've rubbed on stuff. I've never had any problem with. I mean, glossy accents is like crazy sturdy epoxy, so it's never given me any trouble. So I imagine you wouldn't have any problems there. All right. So let's move on here. And again, I did this with gold embossing powder, um, but I think it would be really pretty even done with like a white or a clear and then do the color over the top. It would make it really soft and kind of ethereal. I don't even know if I'm saying that word quite right, but um, let's see here. Let me grab my matching. So these are life-changing blender brushes. When I do the background on the other, I will use my big let's see, ergonomic blending brushes. There we go, get the right name. But I really like, I got these from Simon Says, and they're a little bit of a smaller size, so they work really well for what we're going to be doing today. Um, that's a good question about keeping them away from the edge. I think I usually put the extra postage on there, so I guess I always hope that they'll just hand machine them so that I don't have to worry about that. But all right, so I'm just going to really softly come over with my blender brush. I'm hoping you can see this okay. And again, because it's just ink blended, to me, I feel like it almost gives a really soft, almost a watercolor look to these images. And I'm just getting a little bit of ink at a time and just blending over. And notice how once I kind of dip it in the ink, I kind of dab a little off just because it gets that first um, really blotchy, strong bit of ink off of it. Because let me show you. If I start here with my ink and start blending, you notice how immediately I had a big blob there. Whereas if I dab it off a little and then start blending, do you see how much softer? I did the exact same thing there. I just dabbed it off there first. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of kind of a way to use these blending brushes. And the other thing is I'm holding them. I learned this at Creativation. I didn't know this before. I'd always held it like this and kind of pushed down. And it sounds like they're really designed to be held more kind of pinched between your fingers like this. And I think it just gives you better control on the pressure and also where you're going. And yes, I've heard that with the media mat, then you can use up that last little bit of ink. Um, I just don't have a media mat, and I know a lot of people have talked about that. So it's one of those things that might be on my list here soon, but I don't know if it would work super well for lives. I've seen a lot of people talk about the reflection kind of making it harder to see. All right, what brand of gold embossing powder? That was Simon Says Stamp Ultra Fine Gold. I had to look at the name. I keep it in a bin because I use it a lot. So that's the name of that one. It's obviously one that I use all the time. Oh my goodness, excuse me if I cough in your ear. All right, let's move on to our next color of ink. And this one, so that first one, I don't remember if I said what color. That was Coral Reef. And then our next color is Apricot that we're moving on to here. I'm just doing this for that other big rose. It's just kind of fun to mix and match the colors and get a little variety in there. So, and then automatically by going in a circle like that, you get that deeper color at the center of those flowers, which is also super fun. Just keep blending over. The great thing is if you kind of go gentle on your color application to start, you can keep building the color as much and as long as you need to. That's why it's better not to blob the ink on so fast. All right, let's see. There's a blue butterfly postal stamp that tells me it's to be hand canceled and not go through the machine. Oh, I need to get me some of those, Teresa. That is a great idea. Ah, I've never even heard of that. All right, I'm going to be buying some of those here soon. Okay, and then finally we're coming on with Lemon Whip. This is like my favorite lemon color in the world, and it probably doesn't hurt that it has such a fun name either. I'm just going to do that on those the little small flowers there right at the bottom. And ultimately, when I started here, I really was only planning on using these three colors. And honestly, as I look at it here, I'm kind of going, I don't know, maybe today, maybe for the one we make here, maybe I'll leave the other leaves. I won't do the green on them, just for fun. I like the green on there, but I kind of think it almost looks kind of fun and elegant without the green on there. You know how often on these lives I always like to kind of change things up and make them a little different than the card. So here's the way I did them before. And as much as I like the green on there, I think I'm going to leave it soft and plain this time. Just for reference, the green I did use was Meadow on that first one. So just so you know what color it is if you want to do it that way. But this way you'll be able to kind of see the variation we're going to get in the colors as well. And it's funny how much you can change something. Yeah, I was thinking about that soft green. I'm going to try it just plain like this. I might regret it, but we'll go for that. And I am going to do the ink blending on the background here. I don't know if you could see under this. We did a little bit of really soft with sky blue. And for this one, I'm going to use, because this is a background, I really love these ergonomic blender brushes for doing, they're just so big and easy to hold on to. And these are not from us. These are Pink and Maine, which is a similar name I know to Pink Fresh Studio, but as much as it would have been fun if we'd come up with the idea, to me, they are so worth the money and investment. So just how quick I can get. Yes, please, definitely post that picture. I'll be looking for that because I definitely need to get some of those. All right. Yes, Jennifer, ink blending is so fun. I am pretty much fully addicted to it. In fact, I was thinking about, and I probably will soon here, switch over to um, watercolors or a different technique because I know I've been doing a lot of ink blending lately. So hopefully you haven't been getting sick of it. And I know a lot of people watch other videos and people that do ink blending. I know Laura Basson especially is kind of the queen of ink blending. And she uses just the foam brushes. I definitely have found I prefer the brushes. So play with what works for you. And the main thing is just do it soft, do it gentle. You can always add more color, um, but you can't take it away. So I always tend to start soft and build up because, like I said, it's so easy to come in and just layer a little more color. So I kind of went across the top and a little just kind of around that corner, and then added a little bit in this corner too. So I'm kind of leaving a little more of an open blank space there in the center, leaving it a little more white. And then, since I'm just using inks today, I wanted to add some splatter. And instead of using liquid watercolors, I wanted to show you how easy it is. So I'm going a shade darker on the blue here. This is Summer Shower. And I'm just going to kind of smoosh a little. Oh, well, there, that went all over my desk. Oops. All right, I'm going to smoosh a little on a clear stamp block. Um, oh, welcome, Connie. I'm so glad that you were able to join us. Yes, this is printer paper underneath, Jennifer. Keep seeing your question there. So I'm smudging that onto a clear stamp block and just adding a little bit of water. And then I can quickly, let's get enough on there for it to work. I can add some quick little tone on tone splatters. And normally I pull my box out so I don't make a mess of my desk, but I didn't do it today, so I'll have to. Seriously, Peggy, ink blending is kind of, I find myself when I'm struggling to kind of in a creative rut or lacking ideas, sometimes I'll just ink blend some backgrounds to have on hand. So it's kind of therapeutic. I would have to agree with that. All right. So yeah, this I just use, I know a lot of people use glass media mats, and there's probably a lot of better, more green ways to do this, but I find a piece of printer paper protects my desk. And then when I'm done, I can toss it. It's inexpensive, it's easy, and it works really well for me. All right. Now that that's on there, those dry almost instantly. Like I can rub over that just because it's dye ink with a little bit of water just to get it on there. But you don't have to wait a long time for it to dry, which is also really fun. And I love any way that I can add splatters. All right, so now that we have these two all colored, I'm going to kind of play a little to get my placement on here. So what I did on this first one here is I kind of just laid them around until I found an arrangement I kind of liked, which with this one was kind of changing the angles and playing around with it a little bit. And I think about like that. And hold on here. There we go. To find my, I'm just going to use a little post-it tape here real quick. And use that to hold these in place. I did find most of my easily removable tape options don't stink very well, don't stink, don't stick very well over the ink blending. So you kind of got to pick a spot that doesn't have the ink blending, kind of like right there. At this point now, you have a couple of options. You can pull out your paper trimmer, or you can pull out some big scissors. And I think I almost prefer on this one just to go ahead and use my big scissors. So I'm going to give that a try here this time around. Just by lining it up here on the edge of that paper and following the line. I'm not usually good at cutting straight, but I feel like this was, well, I hit a little bit of the card base, but not too bad. I felt like it was easier to line this up this way. And once I get this trimmed up, then I can pop this up on foam adhesive, and it's going to be easier to do it that way. Okay. Oh, probably didn't help that I had some tape stuck in my scissors. That's probably part of why they weren't cutting all that great. Okay. So now that I have these all on there, I can move that tape out of the way and see how those are all nicely trimmed now to match the edge of the base. And I can pop them up on foam adhesive to put them in place. Before I do that though, I'm going to play a little here. I did this last time and I kind of just layered up a little bit of these ones along the bottom here. And I think I kind of just did these sort of like thus and so-ish. And then I think I lined that one up underneath there, hitting the corner, of course. So I'm going to pull that same little bit of Post-it tape that I used before, and I'm going to hold those same ones, the bottom ones there in place. I'm going to set those up out of the way now because I've already got those trimmed. I don't need to mess with those anymore. I'm going to just adjust that up slightly. There we go. Then I won't have to trim all the way around. Okay. We'll trim that there, and then we'll trim up. This will be the only time you see me using big scissors and trying to cut a straight line, because truly this is probably the only time I could, because I had a guideline to follow along with. All right. And now this is all the waste we end up with that, using this. 2 whole images, and we're only going to have this much that doesn't get used. I think that's pretty good. I like when I don't have to waste very much. I don't know about you, but that always makes me happy. All right. So let's start building up these layers on here. And I'm going to try not to overuse my foam adhesive like I normally do. But I think we can realistically say that I'm probably going to use more than I need to. It's part of that whole idea of sending things in the mail and wanting everything to be nice and sturdy. Nope, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to do that. I probably put more foam adhesive on my other one, but I think this will, and I missed, Kinnery got the answer there for Connie about what stamp set this is. And she even added a link so you can find it easily. All right, let's see here. I'm going to see if I can line this up here without getting my head totally into the screen there. Okay. And a little foam adhesive here on this one. I'm actually feeling like I'm really glad I went with the white leaves on this one. I think it just adds a certain level of elegance to the image that, not that it wasn't pretty with the green on there, but I definitely feel like this bumps it up a notch. It adds a, well, let's see, I probably cut those too small, but that's okay. Like I said, here we go now, on to too much adhesive. It's my gift and curse. All right. And I probably just messed that one up even more, but that's okay. All right, there's all the little foam adhesive. Welcome, Jean. Hello from Florida. Glad you could join us. Yes, the blue on the background. And then you know once I finish this that we're going to be breaking out those jewels and adding some of those on there. Okay, now we've got this on there. Let's go ahead and line up. Oop, let's get that over there before it fully adheres down. That was close. I almost had it sunk in there. All right. Almost done here. See, I use all the little scraps that I trim off, but I really like to have things nice and sturdy and foam adhesive. I know a lot of people use it more sparingly, but that's one of those things that I'm okay with using that supply a little bit more heavily. All right, let's go ahead and add this one on here. I really do absolutely love this stamp image. Okay, I'm going to keep that little bit there on my finger to use in a minute. Okay, pop that, line that up on that bottom edge again. And then this one's not going to need much foam adhesive on it because you might notice it's going to be resting on these other two. So I'm just going to put one little bit of foam adhesive there. And my workspace is so clean. Actually, okay, so my workspace does get messy in between projects, but I'm actually kind of funny about that. I actually have to clean it pretty well before I start working. Um, it's just a little quirky thing that it's kind of like cooking. I can't cook in a dirty kitchen, so I have to have my desk and workspace cleaned off before I start crafting. So this is actually pretty normally how it looks um, when I start crafting. Yay, Canary. All right, we are going to finish off here with our sentiment, and I'm just going to pull out one of my small misties here real quick instead of messing with cleaning that floral image off and um, putting it away right now, so we can just get our sentiment on here. And I'm going to stamp this on here with, I know I did a different color on our sample one. I kind of did the coordinated colors with the ink blending, but since this one's a little more neutral, I'm going to go ahead and use our detail black ink just because I think that's going to be a bit more elegant. All right, let's see. The paper. So Diane, if you get a chance, you can go back on our Facebook page and there's a rewatch available for the Facebook Live we did um, featuring the pattern paper and the ephemera. And I kind of showed some quick, simple, easy cards to make with them on that live. So if you want to go check that out, then you can kind of see some ideas for what to do with that. All right. Yes, I really love those new. I can always tell I love a new pattern paper pack when it takes me a little while to be willing to cut into it because I love it so much that my hoarder tendencies kick in and I have to convince myself that it's not worth hoarding. It's better to use them. We always tell ourselves that. And there's always going to be the next one that I'm going to fall in love with and want to get. So, all right. Adding that little supporting sentiment. And I found when I can use my MISTI, I really like um, just to ink it up and stamp it twice really gently. I feel like I get just a super duper clear impression that way. Instead of pressing down really hard on my MISTI, if I just kind of press it down and go easy on it. And because of the MISTI, I can just ink it up and stamp it again. The June release, I know, all of these releases are just flying out so quickly. I know they're all on order, so they should be back soon. Oh, there we go, 2 to 3 weeks. I knew Canary would know the answer to that. All right. So on my sample one, I used the blue jewels, which match really good with the blue in the background. However, I'm kind of pondering going with the kind of these creamy neutral ones for this one. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I'm going to kind of pop them on there and see what we think is. I feel like these are kind of a fun fit on this version. What's everyone think? Like I said, I'll pull out, oops, and then I threw one just all willy-nilly on there. All right. Finished putting all these on there. I need one more of the tiny ones. They come in 3 sizes if you haven't seen them yet. And I always like to group the sizes together. All right. So on the other one, here's a sample one. I did the blue jewels on there. And I really like that on this one, but I think I like this on these a little more neutral. It kind of fits the feel of that card. Look at all these beautiful colors you get though. It makes choosing one of the hardest things ever. All right, and I'm going to add these on. I know I was talking about what I like to adhere them down with. Glossy accents is just kind of my adhesive of choice that I find myself using. And I keep a little detail tip. My little piece finally broke off that holds the tip on. But I always kind of turn it up and make sure it's flowing smooth because I don't know if anyone else is, where you tip it up and go like this and squeeze and it goes whoop, and then you have a big old blob of whatever it is that you don't want on there. Um, so yeah, kind of test it out and then I just hold upside down. This is my one of my jewel picker tools, my crystal katana, and I use this thing probably every day that I make a card anyway. I know there's, believe it or not, there's days I don't make a card. Not very many, but there are some. Right, pop that back out of the way. And so this is the crystal katana. Another one I use a lot is from Studio Katya, and it's embellishment tool, I think is what it's called. And both of them are kind of similar. They have a waxy tip that works really well for picking those up, and then you add the adhesive underneath and it'll stick back on there. All right, and there is a closer look, and here they are side by side. Kind of fun just to compare and pick and see. I also am going to show, I don't know if everyone um, made it to Craft Hour with Pink Fresh Studio last night with Jeff Lindberg. We, of course, as we continue to figure it out and sort it out, had a few little technical difficulties. One of them was I know my video quality was really rough and pixelated and not very smooth. So I thought, I haven't finished photographing and posting, but I thought maybe you'd want to see the cards we were working on last night because I don't know how well they showed up on the video. So this is the one in the colors that he was working on that I made in advance. This was using, let me grab, I can show you the proper blue family that it was made with. This was using Sky Blue, Summer Shower, Seaside, and Storm with our Pop Out Rainbow. And then the one I made on the live was using Ocean Breeze, Aquamarine, Mermaid Cove, and Tidal Pond. And they were stamped and then stamped over again with clear embossing ink and then heat embossed with sparkly embossing powder. And the background of the sentiments, I just blended some ink on and then smudged over the clear embossing powder and did the same sparkly embossing powder. I mean, embossing ink, embossing powder. Anyway, so we are still working on getting all the kinks out of that, but I think it's going to get better every week as we keep smoothing over those things. I just thought I'd quickly, in case you didn't get to see all that. I mean, look how sparkly. I love sparkle, and these were super fun. So I will post these. Generally, I post all of the cards that I make on the lives a week after I make them. So if you ever want to look and see more photos and a little close-up detail, you can always check out my blog. It's usually on Monday after. So like next Monday, I'd post all of them from this week. So feel free to check. Although I usually only post the one that I made in advance. Yes, Craft Hour with Pink Fresh will be every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. He's going to be, last week was with Leah, this week was with me, and then he's going to be with a different Pink Fresh designer here every week is the plan. And then we will be continuing on here with YouTube Live here on Tuesdays, the same time, and then Facebook Lives, usually Thursday mornings, occasionally switch to a Friday when we have a new release. Kind of like last week, we had this Alta New collab, so we did it on Friday instead of Thursday. And I will be here this Thursday for Facebook Live, and then next Tuesday we'll have YouTube Live, and then I'm going to be gone for a week traveling, just taking a little road trip to visit some friends in Wyoming. So I will miss a week of Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So I'll make sure and let you know next week so you know when I'll be gone. But yeah, so in the meantime, I'll be hanging out with you again this week on Thursday will be our next one. And I think we're about done here. So I'm going to give Kinnery a minute here to go ahead and choose a winner for a $15 gift card for this week. And one thing I would love if there's anything that you'd really love to see in these lives. If there's a technique that you'd want to see done a little bit more, if there's a certain product you'd love to see used, feel free always to pop in, let me know in the comments. You can pop in on Instagram or Facebook message me. Um, any way that you want to kind of get that message to me, or message Pink Fresh on Facebook or anything else. So if there's ever something you really want to see, please let me know, because I'm always willing to kind of work around and um, show something that maybe you're curious about or want to know a little bit more about. And sometimes I just kind of wing it, like this morning, and wake up in the morning and go, huh, I wonder what we're going to make today. And then it kind of happens. So that's always fun too. So, all right. I think Kinnery is working hard on getting that winner picked. What does everyone else have planned for this week? Okay, more with the chevrons background stamps. Okay, I haven't even used that one yet, so that would be a great one to use. All right. Oh, and there is our winner, Annalise Hampson. Congratulations. Yay, you are today's $15 gift card winner. So there's an email there that you can send a note to claim your $15 gift card for the day and have fun shopping with your gift card. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming. I hope everyone has a great week, and I will hopefully see you all again on Thursday. See you later.